Let's do this! Are you ready for a comeback? Are you ready to fly? Are you ready for the moment? Get ready to ride. Calling all the fighters, calling on survivors. Are you up all nighters? We can take it higher. Let's do this! Do this. Can you feel the fire running through your veins? Now you're burning brighter. Don't look away. Shout out to the legends rising from the wreckage. Count down the seconds. It's out your engines. Let's do this. I know we've got a long way to go. I know we've got a long road home. I know we've got a long way to go. Let's do this. Are you ready for a comeback? Are you ready to fly? Let's do this. Are you ready for the moment? Get ready to ride. Let's do this. Oh, you know we're gonna do this. Oh, you know we're gonna do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ghostfire Media's coverage of the North-South Racing League Street Stock Series. We're gonna have a great one for you tonight. We are at Oxford Plains. This thing's barely over a third of a mile. It's flat. It's basically a circle. And from what we heard from interviews last week, some guys absolutely love this track and some don't. But I'm Josh Laston. With me, as always, is Mr. Adam Wood. Adam, how are you doing on this fantastic Monday?
I'm doing fantastic, and I am glad I'm not one of the drivers out there. I am not a fan of flat tracks, so these guys are going to have their hands full tonight, and I'm glad I'm up here in the booth with you tonight, Josh.
You know what? It's flat, and you're always turning. There is no straightaway here. You are quite literally always turning a little bit. It's only about a 10-degree turn on the wheel through the front stretch, if you want to call it that. But you're always turning. So these guys done with the drivers' meeting and getting themselves out there to get a little more practice before we hit qualifying. But this is going to be the North-South Racing League's second trip to this track. They were here for the season finale of last year's season 4. Dante Curtis was the winner. Dante Curtis holds the track record, and
He's the fastest guy tonight by over a tenth.
And you know what? I don't think many people are going to be all that surprised, but you know what? Mike Alexander said last week he was ready for this. He's currently sitting in 4th. Ryan Johnson, despite saying that it'd be a miracle if he was anywhere near the top, is currently sitting in 7th. But Brian Hacker is in 2nd right now. Will Eastman in 3rd. And only about 100th of a second off of Dante Curtis.
Yeah, Brian Hacker just cut it down. I was just commenting of what it was. I guess the track temperatures might have dropped down a little bit since this practice session, but yeah, these guys are out there having their hands full.
As we see Will Eastman just launching it off of one of the many dirt mounds that surround this track. And knowing these guys like to have a lot of fun as they wrap up the warm-up. they've got to have something good in mind, and I'm looking forward to seeing what bit of chaos they're going to give us.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. These guys always put on a nice pre-race show for us and for the fans, so let's see what they do for us tonight.
And keep in mind the big story of the night, and for those that looked at the title of tonight's race, it is the Devon Rogers Hate Club 125. No one hates Devon Rogers. It's just his first race back, so they're giving him a hard time for finally making it to the championship this season.
Yeah, Devon Rogers hasn't been here, but now he's back, so it's a fun title. I like this. I like this year. We got like actual race names. It's pretty nice to see what they're doing this year, or for this season, not this year. This is second season here of 2022. So these guys, oh man, we got 4 minutes left of these guys. I'm wondering how many more people we hit on dirt mountains.
Well, I mean that's going to be a surprising fact that we're going to have to wait and see what these guys have for us. I know the last time I ran here, that's literally all I did for the last 10 minutes of practice, was see how far I could get, and I could always look and see where my tire tracks were from the last landing.
Yeah, and if you time, you want to try to time it right, so you hit the dirt mound and you try to jump over somebody. So that's always what I try to do here. You want to try and clear somebody when hitting that dirt mound.
Well, I mean,
honestly, I think the last time I ran here was in the Legends. And I think that's part of our, used to be a part of our intros. I think
yes.
John Gordon going flying here in the dirt mounds.
And that was also the last time I ran here. And that was well over a year ago. And
yeah, that was a long time ago.
Needless to say, like many of the other tracks, I feel like we're a bit of a broken record at this point. But the tracks that we have been going to are perfect for these cars. These are the same kinds of cars, the same level of horsepower, just about everything else. Like, these cars are made for these tracks. The Legends made for this track.
Yeah, the Legends were a blast on this track. I think, the way those things are geared and the speed it carried here, it was fantastic for it.
And it's going to be the exact same story with these cars tonight. It is going to just be fast. They have just the right amount of grip, so they're going to be able to hold these corners despite it being as flat as it is. And no matter where we put these cars, this league puts on an amazing show. No one holds any punches. So, just got to wait and see what kind of a show they're going to put on for us tonight.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. Some of these drivers have already made some comments of what they feel like tonight's going to be like. Some of them, like you said, don't like it, and some of them is in their wheelhouse. I think Dante Curtis, he set the track record. He won the last time they were here. He's got the fastest time for the night, not by much now, but he does. I think he's probably looking forward to tonight somewhat.
And when you have the history, that is going to be how everyone is going to. I always love tracks that I always win at.
Yeah, I mean, you always have your favorites. I don't know how many people say this is their favorite track, but you're coming here and you feel like maybe you're the favorite at the track, but this might not be your favorite track.
That is true. And then sometimes you completely blow it on a track that not only are you the favorite, it is your favorite track, and then you lose at Lime Rock because of a stupid pit decision. I'm not better.
I don't think you are, not one bit.
I'm not bitter. But we've got 20 seconds left to practice. These guys are seeming to have lost all focus, as we've only got a few guys out on track. Everybody is just getting themselves mentally prepared for this final few seconds before we hit qualifying, and that is where we are. And while we wait for that, I forgot, we haven't talked about the standings after last week. Mike Alexander has a 20-point lead over Ryan Johnson. Will Eastman is back by 27. Brian Hacker back by 39 in fourth. And apparently Brian Hacker in fifth. Back by
Brian
45.
Brian Hacker is the man, both fourth and fifth. Oh, man. Let's see here. Who should be there? 1 second. I believe that should be Dustin Shepard. I think Dustin Shepard should have. I think he's in the either in fourth or fifth. I'm not sure which spot he's supposed to be in there.
Well, as we go out there to watch our namesake of the race put down his first qualifying lap, we have already given him the commentator's curse as he hits the dirt. So we'll go ahead and jump around. Currently up in the pole position is Rodney Huntoon with a 16:03 coming around on his second lap, looking to see if he's able to improve. He is not. Jared Apel sets his first lap. He is back by about 0.04 of a second and really fighting with the car out of turn 4 and is not able to improve. It looks like these guys are going to be setting their fast laps on that first lap. So it's just going to be a matter of what they can do, as Will Eastman is on the back stretch, getting himself down tight against that curb to where it's basically a turtle all the way around the inside of these turns. As he gets himself up into fourth, we can jump here to Janjanin, who's running a bright yellow card this week. And he is currently in 20th. So let's go to Brian Hacker, who is on his first hot lap of the evening for qualifying, seeing what he's going to be able to do. He was up there in practice, and that's good for third as Dante Curtis. He's at the top of the leaderboard. That's what Dante Curtis does.
Get that. I think he's a little bit faster than he was in practice here with a 15.93.
He was sandbagging.
Not by much, but just a little bit.
All right, looking at Al Smith Jr. right there after he just calls it after one lap. Then we've got Dustin Shepard out there in the 89, seeing if he's able to improve. No, he's just playing around, running over curbs and things like that. So the two people that we are waiting on to set laps, Mike Alexander may not be setting a lap. He won last week, so he's automatically at the back of the field. But we also have Jordan Madron, who has not turned a lap at this point. And are we about to get a lap from the 75? It looks like we are.
I mean, we still got another 2 minutes, and it takes them a whopping probably 45 seconds to get the warm-up lap and do the 2 laps. So,
well, when
plenty of time left.
Pull time was under 16 seconds. You aren't wrong. But he is in that throttle. And you know what? As he's down the backstretch on his first lap, why don't we just go ahead and ride along with him? As he's taken that very late apex to be able to straighten out that corner, looking to get a hot lap in. It looks like he was just working on warming up the tires. He hugs that line, swings out about halfway to the outside on the backstretch. And that's the other thing, is this track is wide and gives you plenty of room. So with that, he puts himself into 11th. And getting here on the roll bar camera, It's a really good way to go around the track, as we'll go to Jordan Madron, who has set one lap and is coming around for the second time. And that has him at a 16.27. That's going to put him in 21st. We're going to have to wait and see what ends up happening. Is the invert going to end up giving him that extra time? And you know what?
See what the invert's going to be. That's what I want to look for. Is it going to be a high number? Is it going to be a low? And we still got, hey, let's give it a, okay.
Everybody's already run.
And there's some people that have one lap and get out there.
I don't think that with their current lap times.
Yeah, we're good. It just ended. We can go ahead and spin. Will it be a low number? Will it be a high number?
I'm back in control here. It's going to be a low number, but let's go ahead and see what our invert is going to be for the night.
Low number, yep. See?
I'm back in control. Of course It's going to be a low number. This is what happens. But
so that means Jared Apel, starting on, or actually no, Rodney Huntoon, gets to stay where he's at.
Well, and I just wrecked everything.
Yeah, everybody. I think everybody really wants me. Yeah, they want me to spin it from now on. I need to somehow get control of this wheel.
Yes, you do. But I am doing something for a little bit later here. And that's why I haven't moved things over yet. So, unfortunately, just the minimal invert tonight, and with 3 minutes left of warm-up, let's go ahead, take a quick second, and hear from some of the sponsors for the North-South Racing League.
5 Star Realty Group is located on the Emerald Coast in beautiful Panama City, Florida. 5 Star Realty Group has years of experience in residential properties, investment opportunities, vacation rentals, and commercial properties, and looks forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Kelly's Custom Engraving is a locally owned and operated business located in Wellville, North Carolina, specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like and follow their Facebook page to view all of their amazing products and place your order.
Alright, apparently while we were taking a break, everybody is complaining about my inability to provide higher numbers for the spin. And Adam's making fun of me in the process, as we're seeing cars flying everywhere.
Yeah, these guys, we got people out there like Justin Rixby. He said it's rigged. We need to have a respin. So these guys, they want more than just a re-invert. They probably want like 15.
We
17,
got like 14
19.
last week.
Yeah, I think so far I had the biggest number while you were gone on vacation.
That wasn't a vacation. I was working.
What were you doing while I was broadcasting?
Drinking an old-fashioned in my hotel room and eating pizza.
Exactly, vacationing.
After an entire day of basically industrial speed dating is the best way to describe what I was doing.
I mean, that was at, what, like 3 or 4 o'clock though in the afternoon? You already done? Because, I mean, you were in San Diego time. It was the East Coast time here.
I wasn't done until like 6 o'clock local time. And then I was, yes, messing with you guys while you were getting everything set up. But we do know where these guys are planning to be, their pre-race shenanigans, and had to take a quick moment and leave the spinner up for a little longer than normal because I needed to adjust my cameras so I could make sure. And it looks like they're already going there. to where, yes, these guys doing what they can to go ahead and just flip the cars. Just send them flying. This track is full of so many places that you're capable of just completely ruining an automobile, and this is the one they decided on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one. I mean, you can choose to stay inbounds or you can go out of bounds. As you see, when they go out of bounds, they just blink out of frame here.
And I would be the one to sit, as we see Matt Dula there in the background, just take somebody out who is lining up the shot. And these guys are... Am I blinking, or are they just... I have no idea what's going on right now.
They come into frame for you and they just disappear. I don't know. Your time's off too, because we're resetting now. It's at 2:04. Starting to count. No, but still, no, it's at 2:03.
No, this is about the right amount, the right time for where we are. So, all right, let's go ahead and I think my SDK is what is screwing up here.
That's what I'm saying. Your SDK is now counting down. I think it was like frozen there for a second. So I'll go ahead and run down the starting lineup here while he figures it out. So Dante Curtis will start third now instead of the pole, and Brian Hacker will be on the pole. Rodney Huntoon will stay where he's at in second spot. Matt Dula is going to be up fourth. Fifth will be Will Eastman. Sixth is Jeff Bergener. Seventh is Jared Apel. Eighth is Ryan Johnson. Ninth is Gary Eschen. 10th is Dustin Shepard. 11th, it's going to be Mike Alexander. 12th, it's going to be Matt Cook. 13th is Jesse Womack. 14th is Justin McDuff. 15th is Travis Hoffler. 16th is Gage Killam. 17th will be Justin Rigsby. 18th is Al Smith Jr. 19th is Robbie Clavey. 20th is Devon Rogers. 21st is Jordan Madron. 22nd is Adam Gable. 23rd is Joe Wachowski. 24th is Dan Janjanin. 25th is Randy Nichols. And Adam Boltemere is in 26th.
Well, it decided to screw up in a completely different place than it has so far this season.
Every week's a new week, man. Technology.
I know. The worst part is because of how wide this track is, doesn't even show the entire track on the map. So we're going to go ahead and leave that off for the evening, but it's pretty obvious. But the pace truck is off, and we are getting ourselves ready to go green. We have Brian Hacker leading us to it. He's going to go ahead and get himself off to a great start there, as that inside line is going to be the preferred run, as Dante Curtis right there on the bumper. But Brian Hacker, he is right there, and I don't know why it went to Blim first, but he is all over the bumper. He's looking a little wider, seeing if maybe he can get the run by cutting the apex a little bit late, as the laps are going to go ahead and just tick off. But the person that is having the biggest problem there is Rodney Huntoon. He is slowly dropping back because that inside line is going to be the right place to be.
Yeah, right now he's not the only one. Ryan Johnson's back there fighting with Travis Hoffler in that number 20 car. He's stuck on the outside right there. He finally gets a little spot in. He's back in 12th. Ryan Johnson lost 4 spots on that on the initial start there by being stuck on the outside. We got Will Eastman right there. He is now stuck on the outside. Jesse Womack's underneath him. Dustin Shepard's trying to, make sure he cannot come back down. Matt Dula's going to probably close the gap. Man, these guys get hung on the outside. They are out to dry.
And every single one of them is just waiting for somebody, as now Brian Hacker has joined that group, and Dante Curtis has taken over the lead of this race with Jared Apel behind him, and he is looking to create a little bit of space. He gets a little out of sorts there as he's coming out of turn 4. Well, that was turn 2. I get really confused at this track. I have to be able to see the infield to really orient myself.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so quickly. I mean, they're in one corner into the next one.
Joe Witkowski was there on one of the light posts as we went going by, and he jumps himself into the pits. And
Brian Hacker still falling. He goes from the first position. He's back in 8th and just continues to fall like a rock right now. Man.
That one little bobble is all the more that you need to be able to just fall. So let's do this and actually take a look and see what happens at the front here, as Dante Curtis just gets himself a good run coming out of the corner, gets the nose underneath, and
caution.
Man,
Randy Nichols.
Could these guys not do this while I'm trying to show something that I missed earlier? Mike Alexander, let's see what happens here, because I have a strange feeling that this is... All right, everything is freaking out here. All right, I have... There it is. As Mike Alexander disappears. I'm so confused.
So it's coming up right there. You have to click on Randy Nichols. It was right there. So Randy Nichols hits him, gets in the back of Robbie. Robbie pulls forward. Randy Nichols is sitting there. Mike Alexander barely taps him, does the exact same thing, and but yeah, he couldn't control it, and around she went.
All right. Well, there's that. So, diving on in, and that looks like that may have just been some net code with somebody blinking in and out, and it is what it is. And now everybody that was on that, stuck on that outside line, has the opportunity to maybe, just maybe, get down to the low line, courtesy of a caution. As it's standing, no.
We got Jordan Madron's, or John Madron out there saying he was up to P21 on a short track. Hope short track is easy to pass. Tonight, no. Tonight is, it's going to be hard to pass. If it'll be easy to pass if somebody else has already made the move and knocked them out to the outside, if you can just be nose to tail with the guy in front of you. But you're going to have to pull something like Dante Curtis did and just be able to get a little bit extra grip coming off the corner and stick your nose there and force them out.
All right, the pace truck is in, and Dante Curtis wastes no time once it is cleared to get himself down around Jared Apel, and that is Gary Eschen taking advantage of that extra space, as Jared Apel right now, he wasn't able to clear and get himself down onto that low line, so he is about to have a freight train run past him. But luckily, there are quite a few guys out there right now that have not managed to get themselves down on the low line. That looks like Matt Dula, Travis Hoffler, and that looks like Justin Rigsby that hasn't quite got himself back into that low line. But these guys, there is Jordan Madron up to 12th right now, and looking to take advantage of those guys who can't quite get onto that optimal line.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Jared Apel, there you go. Jared Apel finally slides in the spot right there. He sees an opening behind him. He got into it behind Brian Hacker right there, so he's able to slide in front of Justin McDuff. And, you know, now there's only Matt Dula and Justin Rigsby now on the outside right now, as well as Dante Curtis. There's about a car length between him and Gary Eschen up front, so these guys have a little bit of breathing room. Dustin Shepard's about 2 or 3 car lengths back from Gary Eschen, so these guys are, you know, have a little bit of breathing room.
As we're about to hit 20% in this race, Dante Curtis, once he got himself up into that lead, it was just kind of over. This is going to be a track position kind of night. If we can get some good laps under us, could possibly change, because that almost no banking is gonna murder those Hoosiers on the right side. But it's still a possibility that we could get some passes in.
Yeah.
Maybe as we hit lap 45, 50.
And Matt Dula says he's really thrilled to be here tonight. I just heard him over the radio. He is really loving this track so far. He did not compare it to Water Torture at all. So, but he is having a fun time.
I'm glad I don't have radioactive going right now, because that would probably be me. But, right, it's looking like Dante Curtis may not necessarily be in the best position, as right now Gary Eschen not necessarily closing the gap, but not going away.
And then they got lap traffic coming out ahead of them. They're coming up on Jeff Bergener and Matt Cook up there. So I know he's probably thinking where he's going to go, where the lap cars are going to be, like, you know, focused at. Will they get out of his way? Will they stay there and fight for the lead lap here? There's a lot of things going through his head right now. I know it.
As, yes, we'll jump onto the Kelly's Custom Engraving roll bar camera just for a few moments, just to kind of see what's going through his brain, what the line is. Again, the inside of these corners, it's not a painted line. It is a sausage curb all the way around to where, yeah, you could hit it. It's not going to kill you. But it will once it sends you flying to the outside because you have no traction.
Yeah, you definitely want to hit the inside curbing there. It's no man's land. You don't want to hit it. Your car does not like it, and so you can't dive below it or anything like that to stick your nose underneath there. So it helps prevent people from dive bombing you, so to speak. Here,
yeah,
you kind of it had the built-in protection for the low line there. You just kind of have to get it close enough there where a car can't squeeze in.
Well, I had to jump right onto the bumper of Dante Curtis, because as we moved to this camera, Gary Eschen, all you could see was that bumper, and he's definitely not going away. Gary Eschen has about a second gap to Dustin Shepard behind him, and then it's about another second before we hit 4th place right now. And Ryan Johnson, who, again, said he hates this track, and here he is working his way up there.
I mean, you can hate the track as well, but but also have a decent run in it. He's not running the same lap times they are up front, but I mean, he's running pretty good lap times compared to everybody around him. And as we say that, we got the leaders about 3 car lengths away from the lap traffic up front, so they are closing down. Jeff Bergener got around Matt Cook, so Matt Cook will be the first one to be looked at to being put a lap down here.
And given this track, the length of it, now that we're basically single file, there is a whole lot of car. There's no questioning that there is going to be lap traffic quickly. As per usual, April is out there rooting on Ryan Johnson. And you know what? He's doing better than he told us he would.
Yeah, he's up there. He's running in, sitting in, what was that, 4th spot. So he moved up to, he's up to 4th spot. He moved up 4 total spots. He started at 8th. He went back to 12th on that caution. Probably reset him, probably started him on the inside line, and kind of worked his way up here. So now he's sitting in 4th. So he had a rough night to start off with, but he's rebounding. So far so good. 41 laps into this 125 lap event.
So what we will do is give a quick rundown, and we'll leave it here because this is going to get spicy as Matt Cook gets out of the way for Dante Curtis and Gary Eschen. But that is going to hurt Dante Curtis. He had to check up on the entry going into turn 1 the last time around, and apparently my internet is
No, I see it too. So
great. Okay, not just me. But Dante Curtis had to check up ever so slightly as caution is out. And okay, I don't see where the caution was, but
it's Travis Hoffler. He hit the sausage curb, the thing we said not to do tonight.
all right, let's go ahead and see what we have here. We'll go from the chopper and see what happens here. Yeah, because he did exactly what you would expect, and it hooks it.
Well, it's like half the field came in right now.
I would assume that we are reaching the point that these guys, it's close enough to where we're talking, this is going to be it. And yeah, just that little bit of car lift there makes it to where that.
Oh man, there's a traffic jam coming off of pit road. Everybody's they were stacked up trying to beat the pace car around because, you know, it's a small track, and they all were stuffing it in there at the end.
All right, gotta take this look. See what happens here. Who was my first one? Can I not? Could we not? Are we not? Okay. Apparently.
Wonder do you have the max car count to 60? I know you had to reset all your settings a while back.
We can find out as we're waiting for everything to come back. We can go to a quick commercial break, and I'm going to take a moment to try to fix my stuff.
Track Time Entertainment is located in Texas and builds custom driving simulators with a personal touch. Rigs are fully customizable with color options and utilize 80/20 US extruded aluminum. These rigs offer a wide range of adjustability, as well as different options for wheels, shifters, and keyboards. The possibilities are endless. If you can dream it, Track Time Entertainment can build it for you.
And we are back perfectly timed as the pace car jumps off and Dante Curtis gets moving once again as he gets a great jump and pulls his teammate along for the ride to where Dustin Shepard manages to get himself up right there on the bumper. Brian Hacker is right there behind him.
Ooh, somebody just went flying to the outside.
And that was Rodney Huntoon, and hey, it actually caught it this time. And let's see what happens here. They try to go 3 wide in the corner entry. The 14 just kind of gets sandwiched there.
That was Netco God gone wrong there.
Yeah, that was highly unfortunate. But Let's see. These guys don't. No one really seems to be all that worried about pitting because Gary Eschen is the lone person to take a pit stop from the group that has not to.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough for Gary. I mean, Gary was on the outside there and was getting pushed to the back there, but half the field already pitted, and you coming in now, you're now at the back of the half that's already pitted the last time. And you're the only one that came in other than Rodney Huntoon, who was involved in that wreck right there.
As it looks like Al Smith Jr. has... We have a few people that are deciding to, unless this is my computer being stupid still. So, alright, you guys get to see how the sausage is made a few more times, because this is what happens when I have to completely nuke my system. And restart, because guess what? Tried to install something that did not like me. And yeah.
How about in the graphics settings? You got 60 right there.
You're looking at the wrong thing, sir.
You had it right. You had 40. You had draw 40. Max cars at 40. You're good.
So, alright. Let's see if maybe it doesn't decide to screw up on me this time. But the lights on the pace truck are off. Did Dante Curtis decide to take the outside line?
He's probably working with his teammate there. With Dustin
Well,
Shepard.
he is the one that gets to, like, pick when we go as they slam the lights back on there, and we're going to take one extra lap as we are on 56, going to go green on 57 of 125.
Yeah, so, you know, with Dante Curtis being on the outside, it gives Dustin Shepard the bottom. Dante will clear him. Dustin won't be hung on the high side, losing 10, 15, 20 spots right there.
Well, that's being a gentleman. I'm not used to having teammates that are gentlemen like that.
Your teammates just wreck you underneath caution.
They do. And all I am is nice to them. And occasionally just drive up into them when I'm passing them, and then there's no hard feelings afterwards.
Yeah.
But the pace truck dives off and we are green, and Dante Curtis was already in front as he slides himself down into that low line. And right now he's going to take over the lead of this race, and that is going to make it to where Dustin Shepard is going to be in second. Brian Hacker, he is going to be in third, as Mike Alexander, the current points leader, is hung out to dry on that outside line at this point. Because
I mean, he's making a good rebound, though. I mean, he got the EOL just a little bit ago due to getting in the back of Randy Nichols, and he's back up there. I mean, now he's hung on the high side there. He's going to drop all the way back, but on the restart, he made up a lot of position so far.
And it is going to be a relatively good points night for him, but the person that needs this race is Dante Curtis. He's not had the best opening to the season. He would have been, honestly, it surprised me how long it took me to actually talk to him. Granted, I did miss a week, but right now Mike Alexander's about to get passed by Devon Rogers, who more than happy to take that top 10 in his first race back for the season. And yellow's out. So let's see what happened here. It happened little bit behind where we were watching, as that is the 83, just gets a little nudge from the 68 there, locks it down, luckily gets hung up on the sausages, and isn't really able to do too much damage.
Alright, we got a lone Ryan Johnson right there, hopping in pit road.
And why not? Made up some laps, but the question I have is, why wait so long?
I mean, right now we have Mike Alexander still has not pitted. Justin McDuff shows he hasn't pitted. Brian Hacker, Dustin Shepard, and Dante Curtis. Those are only people so far on the track that have not visited pit lane so far. So I'm not sure what the field load is going to be for these guys, how many laps they can get. But I'm wondering if they're going to have everybody's going to have to pit at least one more time for Dante, Dustin, and Brian Hacker for all them staying out.
They could be rolling the dice thinking, I mean, we've had quite a few cautions at this point. Maybe we would run enough under caution that they'd be able to save and get themselves to the end of this race without having to make that pit stop.
Coming up to getting close to halfway here.
Is that Carolina math?
67, 67, 120. Yeah, we're right there.
I would call this halfway.
Right there on the cusp. There you go.
Yeah, these guys are getting themselves lined up 2 by 2, and looks like Dante Curtis is going to be that gentleman and make sure his teammate does not get hung out to dry, but apparently seems more than happy to do it to Jared Apel and Randy Nichols, who has made it up 20 spots as Dante Curtis is off, as he's able to get clear of the 89, and that's going to bring Brian Hacker is most likely going to end up there in third once we get ourselves around on this next lap, as Jared Apel is trying to fight around on the outside. Not really going to be able to do too much because, again, he gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 2, but he's going to fight on and try to find that.
He's still loose again.
He is just fighting to keep as much as he can going into those wheels to be able to keep just hopefully in the top 10. But that low line is as tight as it possibly can be.
Yeah, Randy Nichols, he was also involved in that earlier wreck. When I was talking about Mike Alexander, he was stuck on the outside, but he was able to squeeze right down in front of Matt Dula, and he's sitting right there in 5th spot. He is up 20 spots. The next person kind of close to him is a guy right in front of him, Adam Gable. He's up 18 spots tonight. These guys are having a fantastic run so far. A good recovery for these guys.
And that's what you love to see. These kinds of tracks, we've reached the point as it looks like the 69 tries to stick a nose down just ever so slightly on the 91 and try to get himself just that little bit of an edge. But these guys are running hard, trying to get themselves up as far as they can to give themselves that opportunity. It's a little bit of a luck draw depending on when the caution comes out, what position you're in, but it's worth the risk.
I wonder if, Adam Gable and Randy Nichols can do something about it. They have basically, half as fresh tire or double fresh tires as Brian Hacker and Dustin Shepard and Dante Curtis have. They've pitted on lap 44. We're on lap 89, so, and top 3 have not pitted tonight, so they have fresher tires, but would these heat cycles kind of negate the fresh tires that they have?
There's also the chance that, yes, maybe the grip level may not be there for these guys, as we're going to go with the blimp here for a second, as Dante Curtis is just pulling away to a good 5-car gap. But the real battle right there is we see the 91 get loose. Possibly got a little bit of a tip there from the 69, as that is now going to open up a little bit of a gap for Brian Hacker. But I think as we lose that one car in the middle and we're starting to see the 69 close in on the 11, the last car that has not pitted, I don't think the heat cycles are making a difference.
Yeah, these guys are pushing it though. They're trying their best right now. Adam Gable's still stuck on the outside after that maneuver, and there's a little bit of a gap he can try to squeeze in from him. We're riding on board right now. Randy Nichols right there on the back bumper.
Yeah, Dante Curtis, he is running away right now. He's probably just running conservation mode. He has the gap that he wants, but Randy Nichols is right there on the bumper as the 89 gets loose, and Dustin Shepard is now on that outside line. Chances are he's dropping back to 5th because the 69 of Randy Nichols, I don't remember if I said Dustin Shepard was Randy Nichols, but he is just does the smart move rather than sit there and fight. Drop back to 5th, make it to where Mike Alexander, that's currently running into 6th, he doesn't have the opportunity to close that gap while he's still fighting, and make it to where there's a much longer line to run below me.
Yeah, I mean, now you just sit there and try to cool your tires off. You kind of slid them there. Just cool them off, run there. Maybe Randy Nichols can, with a little bit fresher tires, can get underneath Brian Hacker, push him, and just make sure you're there when that happens.
But now it's Brian Hacker's job to try to hold off these fresher tires, because yeah, it's 44 lap fresher tires. As well, when we get around this time, they're half the age.
Yep.
And with this nice green flag run that we're getting here, this is the longest that we've had tonight. As
don't jinx it.
Knock on that maple desktop that I have in front of me. But
right now,
yeah, these guys are just settling in.
We see Al Smith Jr. He's kind of stuck on the outside right now. He's hanging on the outside of Justin Rigsby, Will Eastman, trying to find a spot right now. But those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars are nose to tail right there. Gary Eschen over the speed bumps, back over the speed bump there. His rear end's kicked out.
Matt Cook is, and Devon Rogers is around that. All right, that
was a lot of stuff right there.
That was a little bit of chaos. But let's go ahead and find, well, where the first of those was. So let's find, it looks like Will Eastman was the first one to show up, and we'll watch from the blimp. Well, this is a chopper. See what happens here. Gary Eschen just gets a little loose on entry, gets himself up onto the curbs, and then the 96 just gives him the tip. And that's where the chaos ensues.
Rodney Huntoon gets back, I believe gets back on a lead lap with this. He just got the lucky dog going around, and I believe so. He'd be the only one left in the race. Actually, everybody that's in the race will now be back on the lead lap.
So let's go ahead and just see this from a different angle. Is, oh, the 91 gets a little love from the 15, and then the 15 in the process of checking up gets a little rear end action there. And Yeah, that was all that craziness that we could see outside.
And Brian Hacker just stopped on the racetrack right now. He just now jumped in pit road, but he was stopped on the actual asphalt there.
I hate putting it this way, but I'm kind of curious if he just decided.
He just spoke up. He says wheel stopped working. He's trying to get everything up and running.
His wheel fell off?
No, it just stopped working.
Just so everyone knows, in races, I have heard my wheel fell off my desk. I have heard the back of my chair broke twice now.
Yeah. And both people fell to the ground.
And I spilled my M&Ms.
I was checking my email. Got that one too. Sorry, it was checking my email while racing. But the lights are off. These guys are lined up 2 by 2. Dante is going to choose the bottom this time.
Well, at this point, he doesn't have the teammate to protect, and he is off. Gets a good jump as Matt Dula takes advantage of that low line, gets himself down below the 69 of Randy Nichols. And that is going to be all she wrote for Randy Nichols as he's looking to try to shove one down on Justin Rigsby in the 81. Almost had enough room there. But if he does not actually manage to get himself in the right position, Dustin Shepard is going to go ahead and close that gap as Dustin Shepard is currently the only person outside of our current leader to have not pit at this point, as we're seeing a little bit of contact there between the 89 and the 69. These guys, they don't want to give up that track position as we're going to cross the line to start lap 100 momentarily. Yeah, these guys are starting to get a little bit antsy if they do not have that low line.
Everybody wants it. You know, whenever you when you start going around that restart line and you see your lineup on the outside, you just start looking like, oh crap, who can I work with? Somebody let me down.
Well, the 69 manages to get himself down as he is still our hard charger of the night, up 18 spots. But Adam Gable in front of him, he's up 17, looking to work on Dustin Shepard. Again, Dustin has not pit, and his car is looking a little bit sketchy on those tires on mid-corner.
I mean, it's got to be the lightest stuff out of them too. The fuel's not there, sketchy tires, heat cycles. The sun was just out. It's kind of went behind the clouds, but on that restart, the sun was out, bright and shining, kind of warmed up the track probably just a little bit of extra heat into it. And
this is the perfect, from the Kelly's Custom Engraving roll bar camera, we get to see him get the nose down below the 89, get that position as Ryan Johnson is going to follow him through. Dustin Shepard rightfully just gets himself back into line. But now it's time for Adam Gable in this 91 to try to work his way back up and see if maybe with 20 laps to go, as the 91 gets a little bit loose, and that opens it up for Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson into fourth, but a second and a half before he can catch Justin Rigsby in third and maybe make it to where he can talk to us tonight.
Yeah, he's doing his best. We got Matt Dula, who's capitalized on some good pit strategies, up there in second spot right now, hanging in tough right behind Dante Curtis. We got Justin Rigsby. He started pretty far back as well. He's up 14 spots, sitting there in the catbird seat in the third spot. Hoping maybe these guys might be a little dicey here with 18 laps to go, and he's just sitting there waiting for something to happen and let him capitalize off of it.
And again, we're starting to get these longer runs towards the tail end of the race. Ryan Johnson pit, despite the fact that he really and truly was making up great positions on track, I have to be questioning, as we're running this hard, this deep into the race, is Dante Curtis having to save a little bit of gas? Or is it just that, honestly, it's the tires that are making it to where Matt Dula is a threat? Justin Rigsby, both of these guys are within a second.
I mean, I think the heat cycles have already played their turn. These guys the tire levels kind of leveled off. Usually, for the most part, in a lot of racing situations, after the heat cycles have went through, there's a point where both sets of tires will equalize. The old tires will equalize towards the new tires to old tires, and kind of run the same lap times. It's probably where they're at right now, based off the lap times we're seeing.
Well, but at the same time, Dante Curtis, yeah, the stickiness of the rubber may be about the same, but is the rubber a little bit thinner, and could he be possibly looking at a blowout?
We got 12 laps. We'll see what will happen here, as we're still green with almost 10 laps to go here. Ryan Johnson's trying to come up. He has a little bit fresher tires, not by much. 20 lap fresher tires than these guys, sitting in fourth spot. He's about 7/10 off of the lead lap here, or the front.
As that gap is closing, he's down to 6/10. I have to be thinking that those 20 lap fresher tires, they're making all the difference in this front four, because Matt Dula, after pushing Dante Curtis very hard, he's fallen off a little bit and kind of ping-ponging back and forth between him, Dante Curtis, and Justin Rigsby. This is the perfect view to be able to see this, and I can't do it for long because it turns into nauseating. But with 8 laps to go, are these guys really going to be able to sit here, keep running this close?
I don't know if Ryan Johnson's going to be able to do anything. He's going to get to Justin Rigsby with probably about 3 laps to go. He's shaving about between almost a tenth of a second off a lap, close to it. But getting there and passing was 2 different things. And we're already at 7 laps to go here, about to cross over the line to be 6 laps to go. I'm not sure Ryan Johnson's going to put a pass on him right now.
Well, as we see Matt Dula catch a little bit of the curb, trying everything he can, Dante Curtis is doing exactly what he needs to make sure there is no hope of getting something under, as we actually see a rare bobble from the 03. Matt Dula, he's close enough, but he's playing the same game with 4 laps to go. Now this entire top 4 are within a second of one another, as Matt Dula is trying to get that nose down below the 03. Not quite capable of doing it, but we've reached the point to where it's all or nothing for Matt Dula. If he wants the win, he's going to have to do something brave. The question is, will he be able to do it cleanly, and will we possibly... Oh, as he gets very loose coming out of turn 4, and that is going to check up. There is no chance, but he is going to end up, as the 81 is around off, and we are at green-white checker territory.
Yeah, it was like Justin Rigsby got in the back of Matt Dula, and they both had a check up, and Ryan Johnson just couldn't check up in time right there, and got in the back of him.
All right, let's go ahead and take a quick look at what happens here, as we're going to be at green-white checker. Ryan Johnson was already running wide, looking to see if he could get the run out of the corner, and
It's a bad angle. If you go back and look, you'll see Matt Dula kind of bobbles a little bit. Justin Rigsby gets in the back of him. He bobbles a little bit, and that's when Ryan Johnson comes in with no place to go and gets spun out there.
We'll do it from here. Yeah, those two just...
There's nowhere for Ryan Johnson really to go right there. They bobbled, and he had no place to go. He's getting the EOL. He's getting put to the back of the field.
And that's unfortunate. He was having an amazing run there, but at the end of the day, technically he was the one that caused the caution there. But with 2 laps to go, knowing that that is the risk, I'm still, as a racer, I'm going to be there.
You know who's feeling kind of anxious right now? The outside, Matt Dula. He's sitting there running.
I don't want to be.
He's sitting right there all night long, or not really all night long, but the last little bit. We got a green-white checker here. The only one and only green-white checker attempt here. But look who's sitting there in 3rd place.
Mike Alexander.
Your points leader.
That... haven't had much of an opportunity to talk about him all night. And here we are coming to the end of the race. And there he is, putting himself in the perfect position as it is time for the pace truck to go ahead and peel off momentarily so Dante Curtis can take off. Let's see when he decides to go, and he is off early, gets it straightened up perfectly, and that is going to leave Matt Dula in the dust. The 75 is going to go ahead and get down below, manage to clear, get 2nd place, and we're going to have to see, are these guys going to be able to do this cleanly? The 17, we are white flag, which means anything that happens from here on in is not going to cause a caution. We see Gary
Eschen's around. There's 4 or 5 around in turn 3 and 4, turns 1 and 2.
Gary Eschen manages to hold on to it, but Dante Curtis going to take us to the win. Mike Alexander in 2nd after having to start at the back of the field, and Justin McDuff coming home in 3rd.
There was so much. So
we're gonna go ahead
there.
Take a real quick pass to see if we can figure out what happened there while these guys are lining up. And did I go back too far? Yes, I did. No, I did not. So just a quick look at the chaos that was going on back here. As right there's the 20 and the 13 collect, the 73, the 25, and the 81.
Yeah, Robbie went to the infield. He jumped on one of the mounds. As they were coming to park right there for the photo, he still had to finish across the line. Oh man, it was just so much chaos there on the last lap.
All right, let's take and run through our finishing order for the evening. Dante Curtis brings home the win. Mike Alexander in 2nd. 3rd is Justin McDuff. 4th, Matt Dula. 5th, Adam Gable. 6th, Travis Hoffler. 7th, Gary Eschen. 8th, Gage Killam. 9th, Matt Cook. 10th, Will Eastman. 11th, Jordan Madron. 12th, Ryan Johnson. 13th is Dustin Shepard.
14th is Adam Boltemere. 15th is Jesse Womack. 16th is Rodney Huntoon. 17th is Justin Rigsby. 18th is Robbie Clavey. 19th is Brian Hacker. 20th is Devon Rogers. 21st is Al Smith Jr. 22nd is Randy Nichols. 23rd is Jeff Bergener. 24th is Jared Apel. 25th is Dan Janjanin. And 26th will be Joe Witkowski. That'll do it for tonight's lineup or results from Oxford Plains.
All right, it is
125.
All right, it is officially time to go ahead and grab our winner. And Mr. Dante Curtis, how's it feeling after getting to the lead early and just bringing it home?
Man, it feels hot in here right now. That was a handful there them last 40 or so laps. Really, my stuff, it really hit the cliff all at once, and we were pretty good, and then all of a sudden it was just a handful out of nowhere. So luckily we just held on them last couple laps.
Honestly, I'm surprised.
Matt seemed like he was chasing you down right there at the end, and he was looking any way he could right there to try and get past you. I mean, we were up here in the booth, man. I was, not knowing if you're going to be able to make it to the end all the way, what the pit strategy is going to be. But coming in at the time, almost like I say about 60% of the field pitted, and you guys chose to stay out. I was wondering what the rest of the race looked like for you.
We were really worried about pitting there. Oxford, it was really hard to pass, obviously, and after the first couple yellows there, I seen Mike hadn't made up too much progress, so I thought it was going to be really hard to pass. So I think we had a yellow on lap 44, and at that point, I was looking back behind me to see who pit, and I said, well, if we ain't going to pit here, then we just need to stay out the whole rest of the race. And I thought for sure 2 tires was going to catch up to us. I know Randy was involved in a wreck, and I seen him come off pit road. Don't know if he got tires or not, but somehow held it. Brian was able to kind of stay in between us and hold him off for me. And then I don't know if Dula was on tires, but I know Mike was. So it was really a handful there them last couple laps. I was just trying to get away as quick as I could.
No, it turned into a very strange race, but honestly, you were at the perfect track to where if you can hold people from being able to get any kind of space on that low line, it doesn't matter how fresh your tires are. You aren't getting around anybody.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to keep my exit cut off there so he couldn't momentum pass me on the exit. And thankfully just kind of held on there. This is kind of my track, this and Langley and a couple others. But last time we were here, we lapped all the way up to like 3rd or 4th, but wasn't so easy this time.
So you bring up the perfect kind of segue. You say Langley. Next week we're at Lanier, which we're talking dirt. We know that's you. How are you feeling going into that?
Yeah, it's tough. It's going to be really tough. I mean, I was looking forward to it. The tracks we've raced on dirt here in the past haven't really been up to, just haven't been my forte. But Lanier is looking really good. It sucks because this is out of like 3 or 4 dirt races we've had. This will be like the second one I've had to start at the back, and 75 laps. It ain't the same as 125 or 200 laps. So it's something.
Hey,
but, yeah.
Maybe next week I'll spin or do something. I'll put some juju into it, and we won't have a 3 invert. Maybe it'll be like 24 or something like that. So everybody being, all the fast guys will be in the same boat as you, having to start at the back.
Yeah. Hey, whoever hit the spin button on the wheel tonight, thank you.
That's Josh. Josh is the low ones.
Thank you. When I heard 3rd, I was the best. Like, other than 1, that was the best possible invert I could have got. So that really, really worked into our favor. So maybe old Josh will spin us good next week.
We had a slight chat about how I can cheese it to make it to where they're bigger, but at the same time, you know what? Just trust the random number generators, and it just.
Yeah, I think it'll. I already got good faith in it. I think it'll work out next week. So as long as the good dirt guys like Brian, he's gonna be hard to beat. Ryan, Randy, a couple others. As long as they guys start back there with me, I feel a whole lot better about my chances.
And when your competition is back there with you, I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's tough. But real quick, just got to thank all the guys back at DCD Racing. Thanks to Dev for picking this track and coming back to race with us tonight. It's been a while. Dustin, Brandon, Phil, DJ, all the guys, the admins back at the league. do a good job, put in a lot of hard work, getting us a good place to race every week. You guys for outstanding broadcast and a good spin every week. So hopefully look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Hey, I'm looking forward to the conversation, and sad to see you starting at the back, but I'm also excited to watch you fight to move up through the field.
Yeah, just keep the camera ready to pan back to me. And
just looking forward to the slide jobs.
there you go.
All right, have yourself a good one, sir.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep.
User was moved out of your channel.
Time for another one that said that he was looking forward to this week. Mr. Mike Alexander, back to second.
How you doing, guys? Yeah, it was a good run. I didn't expect to be here if you would have asked me that with 30 laps to go, but somehow we made it happen.
Well, I mean, you got penalized. You made it back up. Got stuck on the outside. Got booted to the back, and you were at the right place at the right time at the end of the race, man. It had an up and down night. What was going through your head throughout the whole entire night?
Yeah, I mean, when I started, we took the green. I felt really fast, and I thought I could probably drive to the front, and I was maybe a little too aggressive there. But I don't know. I find I just it's kind of the line the guys were running. It kind of left the bottom lane open, and then it misled you to believe there's a hole there. So a couple times I stuck my nose in there. I probably shouldn't have, but I learned from that, and by the end we just started coming back up through. But I don't know, and with like 30 or 40 to go there, I think I was going to restart sixth, and my tires didn't feel very good, so I was like, I might as well pit and try to come forward than just get freight trained and see what we can get back up to.
I mean, you can't complain about another second. It's better than what we've seen you. We've really only chatted with you on the double points race, and now we've a second place on well, from what I heard, people wanted it to be a half points race.
Well, you know what? I said I like this place. I like the smaller tracks. The smaller, the better. And other than Irwindale this year, and the Coliseum, obviously, they haven't been super small tracks. So I haven't really been in my element too much. So if we can get back to tracks like this, I really feel like I can thrive. I don't know what dirt's going to do next week. That's going to be a rough one.
I was about to ask that. Not exactly a dirt racer, are we?
I've got maybe 5 or 6 dirt races under my belt. Played with them a little bit, but I wouldn't expect to see me in the top 15 there next week.
Yeah, just run it like a normal linear race and you're fine.
We'll see what happens. I can't. I got no expectations, so I can only exceed them.
That's the way to look at it right there. You got that good outlook. You start at the bottom, you can only go up.
Exactly. That's what we'll try to do.
All right, man. Well, hey, congrats tonight. You came back, fighting back from the, having to start from the rear and come home second tonight. Another good points night for you to keep the commanding league that you got going so far.
Appreciate it, and I just want to say congrats to Dante for winning and Justin there for finishing third. Good runs for them guys.
All right. Thank you, sir. And maybe we'll chat with you next week. Who knows if the dirt gods are going to be on your side.
Doubtful, but thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Have yourself a good evening, sir.
You too.
User was moved out of your channel.
Time to chat with another new person to the booth. Justin, third place. How are you feeling at this point?
Hey, I'm feeling pretty good. It was definitely a really interesting night. A lot of up and down, but to end up third with these group of guys, they're all very competitive, and the aggression level's always very high. I'm pretty happy with that.
You were one of the late takers on the pit stops. Like, last half of the race, what was going through your mind to say, I need to get in?
Well, I had driven up to, I think it was like 5th or 6th, Actually, I think it was even higher than that. It might have been fourth on one of the restarts. And I actually got a penalty for a lane change on the one restart. So it kind of forced my hand at that point. Those guys all started pitting, and whether taking fuel or tires, and I kind of was struggling where I was at in terms of running that pace and being able to pass those guys that had already pitted. So it kind of just forced my hand into it, and I came out and took the tires, and it ended up working out for me because I was able to just drive my way back up through there that last long run.
No, it was one of those great nights. You didn't really have the opportunity to take advantage of the invert, and still up 11 places from where you qualified. And you had to come up here and tell us about your night.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. It was, I mean, for Oxford, it was relatively clean. You get a little bit of pinching and rubbing and some hurt feelings, I guess, from guys trying to dive bomb or trying to pinch there on those curbs. But I had a lot of fun. We had a lot of green flag racing, which is always good, and it ended up working out for me tonight.
I got you, man. Yeah, you did a fantastic job when it counted. You were up there in the front. You able to rebound there at the end. You know, got that penalty, and you're able to drive back to the field. So, man, congratulations, and wow, welcome to the league, man. Your first interview with us. Well, hopefully we'll see you a few more times later this year.
Yeah, thank you both. I really appreciate it. These guys are a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to hopefully talking to you again soon.
Well, here's the question. Are you a dirt racer to where next week, what's the call?
I'm actually really disappointed I'm missing next week. So, yeah, I am a dirt racer, and I especially love the dirt street stock, but I won't be here next week, unfortunately. I'll be traveling. So I'm really bummed I'm going to be missing that, but I'll have to catch on the next one.
I unfortunately know that pain as of recent, and, well, have fun in airports, unfortunately.
Yeah, lucky me. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Yep, have yourself a good evening, and great run tonight, and looking forward to seeing what you have for us going forward.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care, guys.
All right, that is going to do it for us this evening. Once again, these guys put on a fantastic show. Give us a lot to watch on a track that doesn't necessarily really lend itself to actually great racing.
Yeah, I mean, these guys put on a heck of a show for us tonight. I mean, there's battles throughout the evening, mostly on restarts where you see people just getting past, but there was the occasional dive bombs, low passes, trying to set up for a late corner exit dive underneath them. So these guys know how to put on a great show for us every single week.
They definitely do. Make sure and catch us next week for Lanier Dirt. Don't forget to check the description. We are running a 50-50 raffle for all of Season 6. We will be pulling the winner during the season finale on November 14th. So make sure, get yourself in there for that 50-50 raffle, and catch us next week for Slinging of Dirt. For Ghostfire Media, I'm Josh Laston. That's Adam Wood. This is the North-South Racing League Street Stock Series. We will catch you next Monday.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.